Coming up on Good Morning Illini, we'll meet a student who's had trouble paying for school and hear their thoughts on Illinois' recent tuition increase.
I was trying to balance all those obstacles. Trying to pay off my rent, my tuition out of pocket.
And we'll get an inside scoop from Illini Student Musicals director Emma Mize on this semester's show.
Just to do something fun and just like carefree is exactly why we chose to do Legally Blonde.
Plus, we'll learn about See You at Home's One Winter Night to help raise awareness about homelessness.
It gives our participants a new perspective, a new appreciation for a warm bed, a warm shower, and all of those, I guess you could say, finer things in life.
This and more in the next 30 minutes of Good Morning Illini.
Good morning, Illini. It's Friday, February 11th. I'm Patrick Cazone.
And I'm Maria Elena Corrivalis. It's great to be back in the chairs for another season. We are so excited to start a new semester with a whole new crew. I'm so happy to be back with you,
Yes,
Patrick.
I know. We ended off last semester together, so it's nice we start the semester together, and our last semester is as seniors.
Yes. So it's great to be back here on a Friday morning.
Yes, and let's not forget, it's Good Morning Illini's birthday, sixth birthday today,
yes.
Happy birthday to us.
To many more seasons. It will be so great.
Yeah, we got a great show coming up for you. But
we do.
First, let's get in today's forecast with Elena Clary. Elena, how's it looking like out there?
Not good at all, Patrick. It is rainy, it's cold. You definitely need your umbrella. You definitely need a coat and a hat, rain boots too. If you take a look at our radar, we have lots of green coming through the Champaign-Urbana area. And you can just tell it's not going to get better anytime soon, especially throughout the weekend. It's cold, it's rainy all weekend.
Thanks, Elena. On Wednesday, Governor J.B. Pritzker announced that he plans to partially lift the state mask mandate by the end of the month. These changes will impact malls, restaurants, and office buildings, but not schools, healthcare facilities, or public transportation. Individual businesses and authorities can still make their own decisions regarding masks in their towns, and those rules must be respected. Pritzker said lowering hospitalization rates is a big factor in this decision.
In the coming weeks, it's my hope and expectation that we will continue making progress to a place where we can remove school masking requirements and keep kids in schools.
So what does this mean for the university? Robin Kaler's Associate Chancellor for the university's public affairs said in an email to Good Morning Illini, "We're reviewing the details of the state's new face covering guidance and consulting with our local public health partners to determine how the state's new recommendations will impact any of our current policies and practices. We'll announce any changes or adjustments after we have completed a careful evaluation."
Back in January, the University of Illinois Board of Trustees voted to increase the tuition rates for incoming freshmen this fall. The last time it was increased was 2014. The Board of Trustees said the reason for the tuition increase was due to inflation and maintaining affordability. For in-state students, it will increase nearly 2% and 2.5% for international students. The university representative for the Board of Trustees, Mariama Melambwe, said, "But I also think that tuition increase and fee increases goes towards supporting efforts to supporting services like research and mental health funding that make U of I a competitive school that people want to go to."
Although the price increase won't affect current students, sometimes the cost of tuitions is already too much to bear. Good Morning Illini photojournalist Ryan Ash met with an Illinois graduate student who was unable to enroll in classes this semester because they couldn't pay their tuition balance from the fall.
While they wanted to share their story, the source asked to remain anonymous. Take a look.
I had a plan to try to pay off my tuition for last semester so I could get into this one. That's pretty much been like the hardship right now, is trying to balance all those obstacles. Trying to pay off my rent, my tuition out of pocket, my cars. I work oftentimes like more than 2 jobs to try to sustain myself. I had to take money from what I saved up for school to help out my family, and that kind of threw off my plan to pay off grad school. For a lot of scholarships, you either have to be a citizen, and even if it's the scholarships are targeted towards helping the Latino community, like oftentimes you have to be a resident or things like that. Once I was here in the U.S., I started working around 12 years old. I did construction, I did roof jobs, I did carpentry. And then finally, my dad decided like, hey, I don't want you to work in like this type of area because, the whole point of you being here is to do better. And I don't want you getting obsessed with like money and stuff, so I want you to focus in school. And he didn't let me work after I think I turned 15, and he said, you have to get a better job. So my goal, my dream is to eventually start my own firm, use the money to help buy or build my parents a house, to repay them for all the effort that they've put into me. Start a scholarship for people like me because I've struggled like so much to get here. And I've been turned down by a lot of people, so I know how it feels, to have to go through all that process. So I want to create a scholarship program for that, and try to find ways to help my family. Finally, I just said, you know what, like whatever happens in the future, everything's gonna get resolved. Everything's gonna work out somehow. So you just gotta believe in yourself and just have hope and go for it.
Coming up 3:45.
Now let's hear from the Student Advocacy Coalition and how they make higher education more accessible and affordable for students. Good Morning Illini producer Beza Varal sat down with the club president, Thais Burlovsky, to learn more.
In advocating for example, a budget increase, we advocate for increased like scholarship opportunities. The greater the budget of the university, the more discretionary funds they can have, and the more they can invest in support services for students, they can invest in scholarships. We also advocate a lot, the university cares a lot about things like MAP grants, which allow eligible low-income individuals and individuals from underrepresented backgrounds to receive scholarships to go to the University of Illinois and cover substantial portions of their tuition. The U of I system cares a lot about this accessibility, and they advocate a lot for consistently investing in MAP grants and other similar programs. We are doing more lobbying this semester, and we are doing an especially strong push for increased appropriations for all three universities, actually all public universities across the state. Obviously within our capacity as UIU CSCC, we do advocate for students within the U of I system, but this budget increase would impact all of the public universities across the state. And this budget increase allows us to do a lot of things. One of the things that SCC is really focusing on is the impact that this would have on mental health services on campus, on student services on campus, because a very large portion of those funds would go towards making those services more expansive, more accessible. And I strongly believe that higher education accessibility doesn't just start with getting into college. It extends all throughout the college career that these students have, and they need to be supported both academically, emotionally, socially, all of that. That all goes into accessibility because a lot of students do come to the University of Illinois from underrepresented backgrounds. A lot of them are first-generation college students. They don't know what the college process is like, what college education is supposed to feel like, and they have no support from back home or guidance as to kind of what to do. And a lot of these resources on campus, such as the counseling center, these cultural centers and things like that, they allow students to get that support that they need that will allow them to succeed both academically and personally. And that's something that's very important to me as a first generation college student. It's also, and that's something that's very important to our members. Also, increasing these higher ed appropriations would allow the university to expand its bridge programs that help students transition from high school into college life. And there are a lot of other kind of things that this would go towards.
CU law enforcement want car owners to be on the lookout for thieves picking off a piece of their vehicle. Catalytic converters are a hot commodity for thieves since the start of 2021. There have been more than 160 reports of catalytic converters being stolen in the Champaign-Urbana area. According to police, the process can take less than 10 minutes. Residents with information regarding any of the thefts are encouraged to call the police or MetCAD at 217-333-8911.
Yeah, certainly be careful there. Now let's go send it over to our full weather with Elena Clary. Elena, is it going to be a nice Valentine's Day weekend?
No, absolutely not. It's terrible. It's cold. It's wet. It's just miserable out there. It's not good for Valentine's Day at all. Today we have about 37 degrees with a chance of 90% chance of rain. If you want to take a look at my walk to the studio this morning, it is about rainy, it is cold, everyone's got their umbrellas out, everyone's got their coats on, so definitely make sure you're packing your coat, hat, and especially your umbrella. And I've got to say, this is not my favorite weather at all. Walking around in the rain and the cold is not what I want to do first thing in the morning. Today, we have a high of 42 degrees with a freezing low of 21 degrees. You can see here on the radar that it's all green all over Champaign-Urbana area, and it's not getting much better until around 5 p.m. today. And on Saturday, it's looking even colder with a high of 23 and a low of 12. As for Super Bowl Sunday, you can expect more snow with a high of 21 and a low of 9. Hopefully, I'll be watching that under some blankets at home. This cold weather is definitely not for me. I'm very excited for all things spring and summer. I can't wait to see leaves back on the trees and flowers blooming. Speaking of things blooming, CU Adventures in Time and Space's escape rooms are back and better than ever. Last Wednesday, the GMI crew took on the cabin room. It's been quite a while since I've done an escape room myself, but I'm sure anyone could say that. Having this kind of business during the pandemic must have been very difficult. Although our team did not solve the room, in time we still had fun and gathered great content that you can watch in the next 2 weeks.
I'm disappointed that they weren't able to solve the cabin room. We'll have to go back and redeem ourselves.
Yes,
with us
absolutely,
GMIers.
absolutely.
We're a smart bunch. I'm surprised we couldn't get that. Well, you can see outside that the snow is melting, but let's rewind a little bit back to last week. We had a crazy snowstorm plow through town, and it even led to 3 snow days. Let's see what Amanda Brennan spent her day off.
If I had to rate this snow packing-wise, I'd give it a 3 because I can't make snowballs. Can you tell me how to make a perfect snowball?
It's not okay. Well, no.
We're really having fun out here. Oh, she's been impaled. Oh!
My chickens at my monkeys. My chickens at my monkeys.
Captain's log 1, we lost Amanda and we have to try and find her. We're in the line of fire. We can't find her. There she is. Captain's log closed.
Coming up after the break, we'll check in on Illini student musicals to learn about this semester's shows. I'm so excited to talk about this. I love this year's musical, and I know it's going to be so much fun.
Yeah, definitely one we'll have to check out. We'll also learn about Sewn in Memory, a new exhibit in the Spurlock Museum.
You know it happened, and you know how bad it was then, but you don't know the extent of it until you start talking to these people who have lived through it.
And I'm looking forward to talking about all of that once after this block. We'll be right back.
shot of being on the team.
A shot. That's all it takes is one shot.
All you need.
Who doesn't love a great morning workout? And what else can you do in the morning? Tune in to A&M in the AM.
What better way to start your morning than with us on our website, Vimeo, and Instagram page.
Coming up next week on Illini Sports Night, the Illinois women's tennis team is making strides this season. A big part of their success is due to breakout freshmen Kita Ferrari and Megan Hauser, both of whom have come from very different backgrounds to be where they are today. They've changed the culture of this team through their passion and leadership, and they look to continue their unprecedented success throughout the rest of the season. I'm Noah Cowell. This and more on next week's Illini Sports Night.
Welcome back to Good Morning Illini.
Last week, students camped out in the main quad for an event to help raise awareness for homelessness in Champaign. Good Morning Illini's reporter Angel Cortez talked with some participants to get their perspectives on the homeless situation.
Participants experienced firsthand for one night of what it would be like if they were homeless.
I wanted to put myself in a situation that would help me empathize.
For junior Faith Ryan, she knows she's more fortunate than others.
People that are dealing with really crazy conditions without proper housing or support.
CU's At Home goal is to provide support for those homeless in the area. One way they do it is by hosting one winter night for community awareness. Rob Dahlhaus is the Community Outreach and Development Director of CU At Home and has been involved with the event for nearly 10 years.
It's a passion, obviously, for me to help serve in our community, to help those most vulnerable.
Dahlhaus says one winter night gives participants a new perspective.
A new appreciation for a warm bed, a warm shower, and all of those, I guess you could say, finer things in life that they can enjoy.
Even after a snowstorm, students settle into their homes for the night on the quad to simulate homelessness. In just under 20-degree weather, box dwellers set up their homes and toughed it out in the cold. Although students were freezing, they say they were still willing to participate in what was a good cause. For some participants like Kristen Robbins, she didn't know what she was getting into, but said it was definitely an experience.
I didn't even know I was gonna do this. I thought I was gonna do something else, but I'm not upset about it. I'm glad that I'm doing something to help other people.
Participants were supposed to be out for 12 hours, but due to the cold weather, it was shortened to just 6 hours outside. In Urbana, I'm Angel Cortez, UI7 Live.
CU At Home is up to 73% of their goal of $500,000. It'll be open for another week.
The Illini Union Art Gallery is ready to reopen with a new exhibit. This month's display features painting from Illinois alumna Shannon Batman Prococo. The name of the exhibit is Finding Beauty. It combines her happy memories with experiences of pain and loss. The opening reception will take place today, February, from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. The artist will be at the reception to meet visitors and discuss her art. The art gallery is located on the first floor of the Illini Union.
This past semester, journalism professor Charles Ledford started an independent study class dedicated to making video biographies. These biographies remember those affected by the AIDS epidemic in central Illinois during the 1980s and 90s. Good Morning Illini's photojournalist Amanda Brennan went to the Spurlock Museum where these videos are on display.
I got an email about this project and I was like, that's super interesting.
Wood received this email just hours after dropping a different class that no longer fit in her schedule.
I feel like it must be fate, you know.
Then her research began. While working with the Greater Community AIDS Project, professors, and other students, she mainly focused on 2 stories throughout the semester.
We found an obituary from David K. French. And from there, I went trying to find more names attached to that obituary, but it was kind of hard.
In French's obituary, family names showed up, but in their obituary, his name did not show up. It was hard to gain accurate family information because gay men were often excluded from their families. This was an eye-opening process for Wood.
You know what happened, and you know how bad it was then, but you don't know the extent of it until you start talking to these people who had lived through it.
Ledford says he is grateful to have collaborated with students who had the power to tell these stories.
I think it's so important to allow being exposed to something like this to catalyze that sort of exploration, a deeper exploration of the topic.
Many AIDS stories remain a mystery. Ledford says he hopes people that attend can learn something more.
I want folks to be sensitized to what happened 40 years ago in this community.
Illini Student Musicals is currently in their second week of rehearsals for the musical Legally Blonde. I'm really excited about this show. I have not been able to catch one of their shows at all, and I'd love this one to be my first one.
I am so excited for everyone to see Legally Blonde. It is personally one of my all-time favorite musicals, and I know that they're going to do such an amazing production, especially this being one of the first shows to come out of the pandemic that we've really been in.
Yeah. The show is about Elle Woods and her journey to become a lawyer despite her having some personal problems along the way. The show is set to premiere on April 1st, but as rehearsals continue, co-director Emma Mize tells us why they end up choosing to do Legally Blonde.
Then my co-director came to me and just talked about this show, and I was like, oh my gosh, yes, this is a show that we have to do. This is such like a fun show, and I feel like kind of like COVID times have been kind of sad, so just to do something fun and just like carefree is exactly why we chose to do Legally Blonde.
As we get closer to the show dates, we'll have ISM join us for a sneak peek of what to expect.
Certainly, I know tickets aren't on sale yet, so excited to get those. Those will be a hot commodity.
Yes.
This past Tuesday, rapper BB No Money headlined at Fullinger Auditorium with openers Rios Mios and Shy Songwriter.
We have some footage from the show. Let's take a look.
I wasn't able to go. Were you able to?
I was
did
not.
You see him?
I was not, but I heard that the show was really great and super fun, and everyone had a lot of energy. So it's definitely something I wish I had gone to.
Yeah, I saw a ton of posts on Instagram and Snapchat of his show. It looked like a really good one.
Yes.
We also got the chance to catch up with a student who attended the show and met with the opener, Rios Mios, afterwards.
We were looking at him on Spotify, Apple Music, and Instagram, and just trying to find some of the music that we heard because we actually liked a lot of the songs. So we wanted to talk to him afterwards and just find out what the name of the songs were, and then found out that they were unreleased, and then just got a picture with him, talked with him for a bit, and yeah, he was a super chill guy.
Now we'll send it over to Will Charlton for an Illini Sports Night update.
I'm Will Charlton, and here is your Illini Sports Night update. This past weekend, the Illini wrestling team took on Minnesota and Indiana in their final two home duels of the season. The Illini were itching for a win on Friday night, but unfortunately that did not happen against Minnesota as the Gophers won the duel 22-12, a duel in which the Illini got out to an early 9-3 lead. In that duel, wrestlers Lucas Bird, Dylan Duncan, Christian Kanzler, and Donnie Branigill won their respective matches. The Gophers won their other 6. Then on Sunday, and senior day for the Illini, they hosted the Indiana Hoosiers, and the Illini dominated, winning the duel 36-3. 9 out of the 10 matches were won by the Illini, including wins by fall for Lucas Bird and Zach Bronigal. Snapping a 5-duel losing streak was something the Illini needed to potentially make some noise in the final stretch of their season. Their record is now 3-5, and the next duel for the wrestlers is at Wisconsin on Friday night, which is their second to last before the Big Ten tournament. National Signing Day was this past Wednesday, and the Illini football team went to work within the state. The Illini are bringing in 11 new recruits from the state of Illinois, which is led by 3-star running back Jordan Anderson, who recently just won a state championship this past season with Joliet Catholic. The other recruits are Jared Batty, Matthew Bailey, Hank Beatty, Henry Royer, TJ Griffin, Malachi Hood, Aiden Lawfrey, Clayton Leonard, and Eon Pugh. This is the most in-state recruits for Illini football since 2003. And Coach Brett Bielema knows how important it is to recruit within the state.
For me, right, as the head coach here at Illinois, I said from day one, we're going to recruit the state of Illinois. We're going to bring good football players in here. I don't really care who's recruiting, who's not recruiting. They got to fit the bill for what we are.
Including the 11 new recruits from Illinois, the Illini are getting 13 other new recruits from out of state, making the total number for next season 24. On the topic of football, the team hired Barry Lunny to become the new offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach back in January. Lunny coached under Bielema while he was the head coach at Arkansas from 2013 to 2017, so the two are used to working side by side. He was most recently a part of the UTSA staff where he served as the associate head coach, offensive coordinator, and quarterbacks coach. And as we know, this past season, UTSA came to Champaign and beat the Illini early on route to a finishing with a 12-2 overall record, winning the Conference USA Championship, being ranked as high as number 15 during the season, and making an appearance in the Frisco Bowl. UTSA had the 11th ranked offense in the nation for scoring and was the 34th best overall offense last season. So the hope is that his successes in San Antonio will translate to Champaign, since the offense definitely saw some struggles in the 5-win season. Baseball season is just around the corner, and that also means the top 30 prospect rankings from the Big Ten have been released. From those 30, the Illini currently have 4 of them. Those players are Cole Kirshiper, who is ranked number 5, pitcher Riley Gowans, who is ranked number 17, second baseman Brandon Comia, who is ranked 20th, and then last but not least is first baseman Justin Janis, who is ranked number 26. The Illini and the top four top 30 prospects start play on February 18th in a weekend series against Kansas and Corpus Christi, Texas. That was your UI7 Illini Sports Night update. I'm Will Charlton.
If you can't get enough of Illini Sports Night, make sure to tune in Tuesday at 9 p.m. Every Tuesday, I know they got the Northwestern, Illini basketball is the Northwestern game coming up, so they'll break that down, along with wrestling. They're finishing up the season, and Illini softball is starting, so that's very exciting.
Yes.
Well, for more sports, former Illini and current Chicago Bull Ayo Dosunmu was named to the 2022 NBA Rising Star Game over the weekend. The rookie has started 16 games in his young career, averaging 8 points, 2.5 assists, and 2.5 rebounds. He's seen his role increase with the Bulls due to team injuries and has made the most of his time. But he missed the Bulls game last night with a concussion and is questionable tonight against the Timberwolves. But the Rising Star game will take place next Friday night at 8 p.m. in Cleveland. Super excited to see Ayo make it this far.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm very excited to see him. He has Gary Payton coaching him. That'll be really fun.
Very proud of him, and there's even more Illini sports news with former Illinois head coach Lovie Smith. He has been named head coach of the Houston Texans. Smith most recently served as the Texans defensive coordinator. He coached the Chicago Bears from 2004 to 2012 and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in 2014 and 2015. He then returned to the college ranks, coaching Illinois from 2016 to 2020. Some notable moments from his time with the Illini include a homecoming win over number 6 Wisconsin in 2019 and their first bowl appearance since 2014. He finished with an overall record of 17-39 in 5 seasons with the Illini. There will be some new performance pods coming next week at the Activities and Recreation Center. Spaces include HIIT, Power, and Olympic pods, along with a bouldering cave. These new unique fitness spaces will open on Tuesday the 15th, followed with pod demos on the 16th. Patrick, have you ever been into weightlifting or pods or anything?
Yeah, there's some old videos of me doing it. I'm not great, but
Well, definitely check those out. Yeah.
Speaking of campus recreation, let's take a look at what you'll see next week on Good Morning Illini.
Coming up on Good Morning Illini, after 2 years of Campus Recreation Center East being closed, they are reopening its doors.
We're excited to have it back open. Obviously, we'll be excited when we're able to get the gym back, whenever that is, but we've also been proud of what, we've been able to make happen on campus.
For one student, he's happy to finally have a gym so close to him.
I live in Pars, so it's a 20-30 minute trek to the Arc every morning when I want to work out, so definitely nice to have this reopening. It's right close by, and it'll hopefully balance out all the people who are in the Arc constantly.
Campus Recreation wanted to make sure there was enough staff to keep the gym running consistently again. Be sure to tune in next Friday at 11 a.m.
If you missed any part of our broadcast or just want to rewatch it again, check us out on demand on our Vimeo channel. And be sure to give us a like on our Facebook page and follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Plus, you can see all of our stories on our website at ui7live.com/WP.
Well, that's all the time that we have for you on our first show this semester.
We hope you enjoyed the last 30 minutes with us. We'll be back next week, same time, same place, for another episode of
Good Morning Illini. Happy birthday, Good Morning Illini.
Happy birthday to many more. So excited.